This month, we fumble about in the kitchen. Our sink accessories are sitting in a constant damp state at the bottom of the basin. We are perturbed by this. We figured it'd be great if we could create something to attach them to the divider, allowing them to drip dry and not sit in a nice little persistent puddle. We'll start as normal by taking some measurements. With the dish scrubber, it has this nice little flat spot and a lip, and we're going to measure the diameter and also the length and use that to create a little clamp that will hold it and attach it to the basin divider. The next step is to measure the handle of the plug, so the major diameter, the minor diameter. The minor diameter is on a taper, so we're going to be safe and just add an extra millimeter or two to it, and then the thickness of the little cap at the top. This measurement's a bit of a pain to get at, so we settled on getting close enough, getting the caliper in as far as we could and kind of making a bit of a guess. So we're probably going to say about 3 millimeters. Another measurement we didn't show, which is our top one here, is 27 millimeters, which is the width of the basin divider itself. So with that sketch done, we'll extrude it into 3D and then move on to creating a sketch for our clamp. So we put in all our measurements, and we're going to do this one in 2 pieces just because it's a little bit easier to print, there's less overhangs, etc. So we're going to create a channel in the main body and then have a secondary piece slide into it. We leave a little bit of air gap so that we can have that sliding fit. Prior to cutting our channel, we're going to round this top edge here just because we have an irregular shaped channel, so it's easier to round it first and then cut through it as opposed to cut through it and then try and round the edges after. You can see here we extruded our full width with that extra little bit of offset so that we can have that nice sliding fit that we've been talking about. And now it's time to create our clamp. We could leave this as is and just have a nice big gaping hole, but we want it to sit right at the bottom of the channel, and we want this channel to be nice and closed and smooth, or as smooth as possible with the 2-piece design. So we're going to extend the top a little bit, and you can see now we have closed that channel, and it just looks a little bit cleaner that way. We'll round off the edges so that we have a nice smooth entrance and exit of the scrubber into the clamp, and then we will also round off a few more edges just to make it easy to slide onto the divider. And finally, we're going to round the top edge of our little extension so it matches up with the rest of it and we have a nice smooth looking design. The last piece is just to round out the sharp edges where the clamp meets the piece that goes in the channel, just to give it a little bit extra strength, and then we can move on to the plug side. We'll start another sketch on the opposite side of the main body, and we will input our major diameter and minor diameter that we measured for the plug handle earlier, and also some other geometry that's going to enable us to create a little channel for that handle to slot into. Now, we have a bunch of other geometry in here which will make way more sense once we get into the extrusion portions, so let's get right to it. We'll extrude our base outer shape, and if we look at this way, we are going to be printing from this face as the bottom on the bed, so we actually are going to have an overhang issue here. So before we move on, we are going to add a chamfer, so then we have that nice 45-degree angle that our printer likes so that it can support that edge and give us a successful print in that orientation right off the bat. Next step is to create the channel for the major diameter so that we can actually slot the handle in there. So we are using some of that geometry we talked about earlier that extends up above it, just purely because when we add that chamfer, we go a little bit higher than our original sketch. Now that that's there, it's just cleaning up, adding some rounded edges to make the insertion a little bit easier, adding some more on the outside just to make it a little bit nicer looking. Now we're ready to export it, import to Kira, slice it up, and send it to the printer. assembly is pretty simple. Slide the clamp into place, put it over top of the basin divider, and then clamp the scrubby in its home and insert the plug into the other side. And now we no longer have to deal with our items sitting in persistent puddles in the bottom of the basin.